Hi everyone, so this is it. This will be round 9, the last round of this tournament. And I played against somebody about 2000 as usual. A bit stronger. He was a Dutch guy, very nice guy, but one thing I should say, because it's round 9, lots of people got draws, and he was not one of those people who wanted to make a quick draw, which I found a bit annoying, but it's also a bit of a weird reaction on my part, because I did go there to play chess, and it's not about some stupid prize money, so let's enjoy it while it lasts, right? So right now, this was, what was that, July 18th, a long game done, and the next time I play a long game is maybe in late September. So I should have thought of it that way as well. So in this game I have black, and I have made 5 draws in a row, and one thing I was thinking, well, I might get a draw here quickly or after a long fight. I definitely fancied my chances at this point to get draws, because I've had, right, so 5 draws in a row against people around his strength. I mean, nominally even stronger. He was the 3rd weakest opponent on paper, but of course they are all just 2000 pluses, so it doesn't matter too much. Qc2 b6, and this is a kind of a sideline, but it's a fun sideline. So e4, the main line goes something like this. And now e5 is the best move here, and I should show you this. How does it go again? Oh yeah, this. Check. And now whatever you do, let's say you do this, then it's a check and you're covering your rook. So of course you could go somewhere else, but it's still you're still covering your rook. This is not the best move, but actually this is the best. This is one of the best continuations, but we don't need to get into this. It's a lot of fun, as you can see. And another funny line is this, when you have all kinds of funky tactics here. I think here is it this? Yeah, this, I think, because you just have this pin, so things like that. e4, c5. It's not good for black or anything, but it's also not really a main problem. Like, there are lots of different ways you can do it, but the main point is you don't castle and you keep your options open, and b6 and bishop b7 is always a good idea here. So yeah, what's going on here? Queen c6, Queen c2 b6. He didn't want to see any of this. He took, I took, and now bishop b7. Let me go to the actual notes, because I might need them at some point. So now he played bishop g5, so it's kind of a logical move, because he wants to play e3 and bishop d3 and knight f3, and might as well just develop this bishop. Well, I had something other in mind. I just played h6 and g5 because my king is still in the middle, so I don't need to really worry about him attacking my king, because I'm not gonna castle short. And after this was an important moment. So knight e4, as you saw, also with tempo, and I have a development advantage, and he's gonna always have some issues with his pieces. I was gonna play h5 here, and this is actually the best move in the position. And if anything, this is good for me, but it's kind of a complicated situation. And the computer thinks ultimately it's equal, but basically, you know, like, come on, you're playing black, you have h5 and g5 played, knight there, bishop there. This is just so much fun to play, and my opponent said, yeah, he's really happy I didn't play like this. I had some vague idea. I mean, I should say that the whole game, this was not my best game by any stretch of the imagination. I had some kind of a motivation. So I did have some motivation trying to get the rating prize or something, and I did enjoy the position at least until some point. But I was playing kind of vague chess, which is never a good idea. So I played d6 because I wanted to avoid his bishop coming to e5. But of course, this is just nonsense. So if he plays, I don't know, something like this, of course, his bishop is just locked in. So this is not what he's trying to do. So I don't need to prevent bishop e5. Bishop e5 will be captured eventually. So there's some weird lines like, wait, queen c2. No, definitely not here. Queen c2, but now h5, f3, and maybe something like this. We saw some long game here, but this is a very messy position where ultimately I have an obvious compensation for the pawn, and white's king will struggle to find a safe haven. Now d6 is not a bad move by any stretch. In fact, kind of the first 14 moves in the game are considered by the computer to be played close to optimally. So e3, knight g3, this is where I offered a draw, and my opponent kind of made a face and he said no. But yeah, he didn't think he was better, he just wanted to play chess. And I mean, you know, you are at a chess tournament, you are supposed to play chess. In the meantime, yeah, this girl next to me, she did this in a very strategic way. Before the game, she asked her opponent. So she's a bit stronger than me, maybe like 100 points stronger than me. And her opponent was also about 2,000 or 2,100 or so. She asked him before the game, do you still have a chance for a rating prize? And he said no. And then kind of 10 moves later, she just offered him a draw. So that was an interesting way of achieving this. And she got a rating prize actually, so maybe I should remember this. But yeah, again, the game itself was quite interesting. Knight d7, knight c3, and now this is actually a very, it's a common maneuver here. So bringing your other knight to c3, because the c3 square is a really good square here in the Nimzo-Indian. And of course, I kept having this long diagonal influence here. So knight f3, I would have been able to take it off, and so on. So knight c3, and this is where I started going downhill. So just castling long would have been good, and after knight b5, I just go to the corner and capture it. Protect it. So for some reason I was really afraid of this knight b5 move, and my opponent said, what knight b5 move? Like, he didn't even think it's an option, and I think he's pretty much spot on here. And this is I start having some problems here. Now he castled long. I don't know why the engine thinks that g4 is a really good move. I mean, this is the kind of move that makes sense, but why right now, I don't know. Castling long, this was a really bad move, d5. Of course I'm locking in my bishop, but I was afraid that he's gonna lock in my bishop as well, so I don't know. I don't know why I thought this, but yeah, definitely d5 is not a good move here. He took. I needed to take with the pawn because after this c7 just hangs, and that's not the plan. So I just took this and with the idea of like a later c5, hopefully activating my bishop. Bishop d3, castles long, queen e2, attacking a6, and I just thought it should be okay. b6 and b5 and knight b6 later. It should work out. Oh, I see that actually my microphone is not turned on, but I hope this is still fine. So b5, king b1, king b8, rook c1, and now was the moment where c5 would have been a good move. But I played rook c8 first. So my engine thinks that this is actually equal. c5, I mean, he has some long line here. Queen f3, takes, h5. Yeah, there's always something going on the h file, so the engine is always thinking of playing g4 by white or h5 by black, so to solve this issue on the h file. And yeah, and then sometimes it's a good idea, sometimes it's a bad idea. Bishop f5, knight f6, f4, g4, whatever this is, I don't know, b4, bishop c6, king b2, and he thinks this is equal, with the idea, I guess, that white cannot really avoid us just swapping these bishops, and then basically I'll be quite fine. So, but I played rook c8. And now after queen f3, my opponent thought I shouldn't exchange, but I just thought it can't be that bad. And now there's various ways you can play this, but my opponent really wanted to take over the h file, so it happened like this, back, this, so I need to yield. Rook h2. And now I had this idea that if he attacks my knight, I can protect it with the rook. And in fact that's what happened, except that here rook h8 check, king a7, there was a really good move here, and that's bishop b5 check, so and yeah, just take this. And there's just simply too many of these guys. So this is totally winning, and in fact the engine doesn't want to take this because it's too lost. But then you're just a pawn down, and it's not obvious how you're getting any counterplay. So I was lucky here that he didn't find this bishop b5 move. Knight e2. And I was thinking like, okay, let's try to activate stuff. And this is what happened, so now this way my bishop gets more into the game, maybe like this or so. knight g3, bishop d5. And now this is a very interesting moment. This is the interesting moment, if you like. So here I had several options. Well, I had one move which I made, which okay, let me just show you the game because it didn't really last very long. So I just played this, thinking, oh well, I'm protecting this, and next move I will play this, and of course if he takes, I will have this winning the knight. Now, what I forgot was that he can just play f5, and now it's just the whole game is over. Bishop b3. I mean, I just tried to play as quickly as possible and as actively as possible, but rook g4, rook c6. There is various options here, but the main point is that I'm lost. And this was just nonsense. So bishop c2 check maybe, but I played this, and after knight c5 I had to resign because everything is lost. So my bishop needs to so I'm losing the rook basically, or the bishop. Now, well, there's things like, I don't know, here bishop c2 check and so on, but this is just nonsense. So let's look for a better position where I can play this, and there was one in fact. So of course rook g8. So like actually the most logical move here, and the one that I could easily have played is this, and it's actually a huge mess, and it's not very clear if white is even a little bit better. So because my rook is just more active now than his, ironically, like it's just totally weird, but it is the case. So this is with a mate threat. Well, mate in 2 or something. We're just gonna take so many pawns here that I'm pretty sure this is a draw eventually. But one interesting thing that I just found just literally today, which when I was looking at this, just like this like how do you say this, like just brute force approach, just like analyzing every single move, is this move, bishop c4. And after bishop c4, now of course none of this is force, but well, this was his main threat. Of course knight takes e4 doesn't work because you win the knight, so at least you protected one of the pawns. But rook takes g4 is also very kind of, you just do this, right? And now you know, you have some stuff going for you. So rook c6, and well, there's lots of different lines, but this is one of them. f5, attacking e4 again. Oops. And let's just see what the computer finds. So bishop d3 check, king a2, rook c1, and bishop knight takes there, right? Check. And now of course this is just a draw, so let's try to get out. King b3, bishop c2 check, and now this is cool. So this is still a draw, right? It would have been a draw already, but now let's say that this is the first time this happens. King b4. Now I have this move. Bishop d1, and if you don't do anything, or let's say you move your rook somewhere, then this is mate into. So this would have been a really long and interesting battle. So bishop c4, very interesting. So basically just getting in like that. I was thinking always of getting in like this, but the second way is actually a bit more just a bit sharper and a bit more effective. So yeah, well, this was basically the tournament. Like this is a very long and interesting line. Takes, and then a4 is one line he suggests. Takes f5. Yeah, I mean I'm just so active here. I'm just a pawn down, right? I am a pawn down, but still. So if he's trying to, I don't know. Well, I mean, he's not gonna play rook knight a1. So let's say you do this. I mean, you know, worst case scenario, you just take the pawn, right? And then this is a draw. But yeah. Anyway, so this would have been an interesting and fighting draw in the end if I had played a bit more actively. But this is obviously, many people can say stuff like this. I was just in this frame of mind of like, okay, let's try to defend stuff. So I did have one game where that worked, where I had the bishop against the rook, if you remember. I did manage to hold it all together, but in this game it was just a bit too vague. Like this of course bishop e6 missing e5 missing f5 is sloppy, but sloppiness is not even what I mean here. It's more about just the vagueness, like, oh, I'm just gonna go for this bishop b3 idea, but like this is just not working. Like I can obviously see that it's not working. Like you don't need to be a grandmaster to calculate that he has knight c5 here. So yeah, something much more to the point. So like rook h6 or this bishop c4, which is like kind of a really cool move. I mean, I wish I'll be able to make a move like this at some point, where it's just all, it looks like it's in slow motion, but actually it's very, very dangerous. Like what will he play here? It's not clear at all. Anyway, so that's, unfortunately I lost the last game, and I did win a rating prize, but there were actually 3 people under 1700 who finished on 5 out of 8 and 5 out of 9, and I mean, they were all people who won their last game against some 1900 or 2000 player. So they were on 50% and they won the last game, and they kind of leapfrogged me like this. But you know, it's just a Swiss system. I had my chances here in this game. Maybe early on you could argue that I had some chances of being better after h5. Here you could argue that, yeah, I had some kind of initiative with black, and then later on, yeah, I mean, one of these positions, of course, I might have some kind of chances to win, but a draw would have been a much more realistic proposal, but I didn't manage. Anyway, well, I learned a lot in this tournament, and you know, even here in this game, like, of course I made a lot of mistakes and a lot of inaccuracies, but if you think about his play, he was also not particularly strong. Like I kind of enjoy feeling like this, like, okay, well, we all make mistakes, but even they make mistakes, and they're mistakes that I can understand. I mean, you know, if you're gonna show me some game where Caruana says that, oh well, this was an inaccuracy, that I played these 5 moves in this move order and not in that move order, then of course I'm gonna say like, well, that's a cool story, bro, but I mean, I don't know what you're talking about. But here, things like this rook g8 is a risky move. I mean, and I should have just profited from it. Like it wasn't a good move, for example, and a few other occasions like that. Like actually in the opening, I basically I want to say I basically outplayed everyone in the opening. And it was just in the middle game that sometimes I threw it all away. And it's a nice feeling. On the other hand, it was all an unrated tournament with a lot of beer involved, so I shouldn't jump to conclusions. And and it wasn't much better than my last year's tournament, and then the season thereafter was quite bad. So yeah, I don't know if I have some overarching conclusion other than just pay a bit more attention and blunder less and try to concentrate on everything and play actively. But these are just platitudes and again, very vague. So I hope you got something out of this, whoever did watch all 9 games. And see you around.